The entertainment industry has long struggled with the exploitation of child performers. From the silent film era to Hollywood's golden age, stories of young stars having their earnings squandered by parents and handlers are tragically familiar. Laws like the Coogan Act were created to protect these minors. But what happens when the industry isn't a studio but your own home? What happens when your life itself becomes the performance? Broadcast for millions on a reality television show? This is a gray area where a new form of child labor has emerged, one without scripts or sound stages, yet with real contracts and real money at stake. In the sprawling and now fractured world of the Brown family from sister wives, this gray area may be on the verge of a multi-million-dollar controversy. Rumors are circulating from Flagstaff, Arizona, from sources who have witnessed the family's slow-motion unraveling. The claims are shocking, yet for anyone paying close attention, they feel almost inevitable. The rumor is that a lawsuit is being prepared not by a disgruntled ex-wife, but by the children raised in front of the cameras. Specifically, Janelle's sons, Gabriel and Garrison Brown, are reportedly exploring legal action against their father, Kody Brown, and his last remaining wife, Robyn, with a staggering $2 million at stake. The heart of this alleged legal battle revolves around one undeveloped and notoriously troubled piece of land, Coyote Pass, according to insiders. Gabe and Garrison allege that Kody used their names, their labor, their appearances on the show, and the family money they helped generate to finance the purchase of this property. The land was promised as a family legacy, a place for each wife to have a home, and for the children to inherit something meaningful. Now, with the family fractured and Kody living a functionally monogamous life with Robyn, fears are rising that he and Robyn intend to sell the property and keep all profits for themselves. The accusation is, in essence, a claim of theft on a grand scale, not just of money, but of a future, a legacy, and the meaning of a childhood spent on television. To understand the gravity of these claims, one must examine the financial structure that fueled this family for over a decade, the family pot. This wasn't a quaint notion. It was a foundational principle of their polygamous life. From the beginning, all income from Christine, Janelle, Mary, or any other source went into a single account under Kody's control. As the show became successful, earnings from TLC, technically made by everyone who appeared on camera, including the children, were also added to this account. For over a decade, the financial identity of 3 wives and 13 children was merged into a single account. Managed by Kody, the wives often spoke about needing his approval for even basic expenses, a system that demanded total trust. They had to believe Kody was managing the money responsibly, investing in their collective future, and making decisions for the good of the whole family. Early on, this system seemed to function. It funded their move from Utah to Las Vegas and allowed them to buy 4 homes in the famous cul-de-sac. Yet cracks were apparent. While Kody's professional contributions were often vague, the real financial backbone was the wives. Janelle was steady and pragmatic, but the real cash inflow, especially during the Vegas years, came from Mary, Christine, and later Janelle through multi-level marketing businesses. These MLM ventures were key to the family's financial engine. Mary became a top seller in LuLaRoe, generating significant income and bonuses. Christine and Janelle also achieved 6-figure earnings selling jewelry and wellness products. Yet in the Brown system, all of this went into the family pot. Kody never sold a pair of leggings, but he controlled the profits. Mary's earnings were used for Robyn's large rental home, funding family moves and projects while the wives labored endlessly in their businesses. The dynamic was clear: the women and their children were the earners, and Kody was the spender, the visionary, using others' labor to fuel his dreams. This brings us to a controversial theory, the concept of bleeding the beast, historically associated with fundamentalist groups manipulating secular systems for their own gain. For years, speculation has suggested that the Browns may have employed similar strategies, using financial maneuvers to consolidate wealth. According to recent rumors, Kody may now be turning this approach inward, allegedly attempting to extract the family's final remaining asset, Coyote Pass, for his and Robyn's benefit. This context is crucial to understand Gabe and Garrison's claims. It isn't just about a plot of land, it's about a decade of contributions. Every dollar their mothers earned, every scene they performed for the cameras, every moment of childhood broadcast as entertainment contributed to this family enterprise. They are fighting for their inheritance, yes, but also for recognition that their lives were instrumental in creating it. The show itself may have unintentionally documented much of the evidence for this potential lawsuit. Janelle, for example, expressed serious concerns in recent seasons about her financial future and her children's inheritance. She had invested heavily in Coyote Pass, selling a home and moving into rentals or an RV. only to see the land remain undeveloped. She asked for legal guarantees that her contributions would go to her children. But Kody rejected the idea, insisting the land remain unified under his control. These interactions could demonstrate intent to consolidate assets and prevent inheritance claims, providing a strong piece of evidence for the children's legal team. Even more revealing were confrontations between Kody and his sons, Gabe and Garrison, publicly framed as disagreements over rules. These exchanges also involved Kody demanding that Janelle evict her adult sons. This wasn't a simple argument. It could have been a calculated attempt to establish them as tenants rather than family members, weakening their claim to shared assets. By demanding rent, he sought to redefine their legal relationship, further isolating them from the inheritance. Adding to the speculation is the alleged creation of a secret LLC in Arizona under Kody and Robyn's names. If true, this entity could be used to transfer Kody Pass ownership into a structure that excludes the older children, effectively shielding the property from their claims. The timing is notable, coinciding with the departure of Christine, Janelle's separation, and Kody's transition to a monogamous life with Robyn. Such a move could be seen as a deliberate effort to secure assets exclusively for the two of them and their children. From a psychological perspective, this behavior may be understood as part of a narcissistic collapse. Kody's identity was once built around being the patriarch of a large, successful polygamous family. The loss of Christine, Janelle, Mary, and the estrangement of his older children represents a profound blow. In such states, narcissistic individuals may double down, seeking control and retribution. By consolidating Kody Pass under his and Robyn's ownership, Kody may perceive himself as reclaiming power and punishing those he sees as disloyal. Robyn's influence cannot be overlooked. By positioning her young children as the priority, she has shaped the allocation of resources to favor herself and her family. Kody, in a fragile psychological state, may view this consolidation as protective rather than exploitative, trusting her narrative that the older children have forfeited their claim by leaving the marriage. From the perspective of the older children, however, this is deeply personal. Gabe reportedly feels erased, telling friends, "I didn't just appear on a TV show. I spent my childhood performing my life for an audience to fund a future I was promised. Kody Pass was my inheritance. Now my father is trying to tell me my contribution meant nothing." Janelle has expressed similar devastation, lamenting that her trust in Kody may have cost her sons their rightful inheritance. Robyn, meanwhile, may rationalize the actions as protecting her family, seeing the older children as disloyal and undeserving. Taken together, these elements: financial consolidation, strategic legal maneuvers, public confrontations, and psychological influence, paint a picture of a potential legal and familial conflict of unprecedented complexity. The pieces are scattered across seasons of televised interactions, MLM ventures, family disputes, and property maneuvers, forming a narrative that, while circumstantial, suggests the older children may have a legitimate claim to challenge Kody and Robyn's control of Kody Pass. At its core, this story is not just about money or land. It is about the meaning of a childhood spent in the spotlight, the sacrifices of labor and time, and the promise of a legacy that may now be at risk. It is a conflict where family, power, psychology, and law intersect, with the stakes being the very inheritance and recognition of an entire generation of Brown children. They express the emotional weight of this conflict far more powerfully than any legal document ever could. This is not just a dispute over property or money. It is a struggle over the very soul of the Brown family. It's a fight over what it means to be a father, a son, a wife, a deeply personal battle that marks a tragic chapter in a story once presented to the world as a testament to love and faith. What was sold as a grand vision of unity now reads as a harsh lesson in greed, ego, and the destructive consequences of a family that devours its own. With the context, evidence, and psychological factors laid bare, we must consider the climax, the potential lawsuit. What would happen if the swirling rumor of legal action becomes real? If court papers are filed and the fight moves from the family living room into a courtroom? For Kody and Robyn Brown, the fallout would be devastating, the phrase that strikes fear into any reality star, particularly one whose finances have always been opaque, is legal discovery. Discovery is the stage in a civil case where the truth cannot be hidden. Every relevant document, email, text, and financial record must be disclosed. No edits, no spin, just the unvarnished facts. Imagine the demands of a lawyer representing Gabe and Garrison, not just the deed to Kody Pass, but a full forensic accounting of the family's finances dating back to the earliest seasons. They would subpoena contracts, records of payments, deposits, and withdrawals. Every financial decision, every allocation of resources would be exposed. Where did the income from the wives' MLM ventures go? How much did Kody spend on cars, hobbies, and trips with Robyn compared to what was spent on the other children? How much money disappeared into Robyn's jewelry business or luxury closet? Every questionable expense would be documented and presented before a judge, and eventually, the public. Depositions would follow, forcing Kody, Robyn, Janelle, Mary, and Christine to testify under oath. Kody would have to justify telling Janelle's sons they needed to pay rent, explain spending on Robyn's multi-million-dollar home, and account for years of financial favoritism. Robyn would be questioned about her influence over financial decisions and her knowledge of the family pot. Any discrepancy, omission, or attempt to conceal assets could carry legal consequences. The process would strip away the carefully curated image Kody has built over the years. A forensic accounting would likely reveal that his financial independence was exaggerated, exposing imbalances that favored one wife and her children above all others. This is why a settlement is inevitable. The potential fallout is too great. His reputation, the family's finances, and the threat of IRS scrutiny all hang in the balance. The alleged $2 million the boys seek may pale in comparison to what it would cost to keep his secrets private. If this lawsuit materializes, it is almost certain to end quietly with a private settlement. Kody would pay his sons, likely liquidate part or all of Coyote Pass, and secure a gag order to prevent public disclosure. He could frame it as a protective measure, but in reality, it would be an admission of defeat. The story here is tragic. A family once held up as a model of love and faith has fractured under the weight of greed. Kody Brown's legacy will not be one of a thriving plural family, but of a man who, trying to keep control of his wealth, lost the love and respect of his children. As this story unfolds, the audience is forced to consider their own position. The battle lines are clear. On one side, Kody seeking to maintain control; on the other, his sons asserting a rightful claim. If the boys sue, whose side do you take? This is more than reality TV drama. It is a debate about fairness, family, and the cost of fame. The lawsuit would also strain sibling relationships. Older children like Logan, who have avoided family drama, may be pulled back in through depositions. Married siblings, like Melty, would face the impossible choice of siding with their father or their brothers. McKelty's loyalty would be tested. Pedden, already vocal about family tensions, could become a public supporter, amplifying the boys' claims. Leon Brown, estranged but financially implicated, might quietly back the case. The mothers would face immense pressure as well. Janelle could see her savings at risk. Christine might testify against Kody, highlighting the sacrifices she and her children made. Mary, who enabled the financial system by being Kody's legal wife, would face a moral and financial dilemma: testify and sever ties, or stay silent and betray the children she helped raise. The family would be forced to reveal their allegiances, shattering any illusion of neutrality. The result: two factions, Kody and Robyn isolated in their mansion, and a coalition of children and ex-wives demanding their share. The fallout would expose the illusion that the Brown family was ever truly united. Kody and Robyn would not go quietly. Their strategy would likely involve a coordinated counterattack. Both legally and in the court of public opinion, they would portray the children as ungrateful, manipulated by jealous ex-wives, and position Robyn as the innocent, long-suffering target. Financial gaslighting would reinforce this narrative, emphasizing past expenses for the older children while ignoring the millions funneled into Robyn's lifestyle. A lawsuit would also expose long-hidden financial imbalances. Robyn's jewelry business, funded by the family pot, failed spectacularly. Equity from the sale of Vegas homes, reinvested in Coyote Pass, would be scrutinized as a potential misappropriation. Rumors of secret accounts or exclusive funds for Kody and Robyn would be revealed under legal examination. The family pot was not a communal fund but a monarchy, benefiting the queen and her immediate family. Looking forward, the likely outcome is a settlement. Gabe, Garrison, and possibly other siblings would receive financial restitution, likely forcing Kody and Robyn to sell Coyote Pass and downsize. They would retain the monogamous lifestyle they desired, but in diminished circumstances, overshadowed by public scrutiny and financial strain. Emotional reconciliation would be nearly impossible if Kody somehow wins. The lawsuit would be dismissed, validating his worldview and further embittering him. He could sell Coyote Pass on his terms, fund Robyn's mansion, and publicly disown dissenting children and ex-wives, cementing a rewritten family history that erases the contributions of the original children. Ultimately, this is not about money or property. It is the death of the family's core principle: Sister wives presented their plural family as an experiment in multiplied love. In reality, love and resources were consolidated, hoarded at the top, leaving those below to sacrifice. The final image of the Brown family will not be a united family at Coyote Pass, but a father and sons divided by legal documents, a shattered dream, and the corrosive effects of greed. This story is no longer just reality TV. It is a cautionary tale of fame, familial fragility, and the high cost of broken promises. And the Sister Wives crew will continue to chronicle every chapter as it unfolds, revealing the tragic consequences of a family torn apart from within.